Welcome to the Relax into Love podcast, the place for spiritual, ambitious women to awaken to divine connection within themselves and their partner and manifest their most desired relationship with joy and ease. I'm Teal Elizabeth, your host, a spiritual love and relationship coach trained in the principles of feminine energy, NLP, and deep subconscious reprogramming. And through this podcast, it is my desire to inspire you on all things dating, relationships, and self-love. Now, on to the show. Welcome back, ladies, to another episode of the Relax into Love podcast. I'm your host, Teal Elizabeth, and today we're going to talk about the energetics of relationships and help you understand if you are subconsciously pushing men away or pushing your man away. And this is a really, really cool topic to dive into because it's going to sink below the, surface level strategies of how to attract men in and really talk about what's happening below the surface. So firstly, I really want to start talking about resistance. So when I say resistance, what I'm talking about is this experience deeper within ourselves when we think about men and we think about being in that beautiful, amazing dream relationship. What comes up for you? How do you feel when you recognize the lack of that presence in your life? That to me is a feeling of resistance. Usually a feeling of resistance for many women that I talk with. It's like, I know I want to be over there, but I'm not over there yet. And so how do I actually get over there? And the anxiety comes in and the fears come in around, well, if you don't get over there, you're going to miss out or they're going to get taken or whatever. All of these things that start swimming around our heads about the reasons why we're never going to have what it is that we deeply want. So resistance is a huge block for so many women in actually being able to attract in what it is that they want from their partner. And if they don't address it, they can actually end up pushing away men and have the opposite effect. Even in the conscious awareness of wanting to bring it in, they are actually sabotaging their chances and pushing it away. It is so easy to be perceived on the outside as having your shit together and feeling and seeming like this perfect person, right? But when we have this inner disturbance and this inner resistance and this inner contrast that we are trying to sort through on a subconscious level, it comes through in our essence. It comes through in our being without us even being able to truly express it or hide from it or pretend that it's not there, right? And unfortunately, for many of us, if we're not used to working through this resistance or working through this contrast, our easiest way to be able to protect ourselves from this is to just put on more masks, put on more guards, put on more false identities, right? Pretending more and more to try and hide from the fact that things are not truly sorted out inside of us. We overcompensate on the external. And this can look in lots of ways. It can look off in the way we show up in our personality, being more outgoing, more personable, more playful, more whatever. It can look as trying to, get nicer clothes, do more of our hair, just completely try and make up more of our physical experience to be looking more enticing and alluring and put together. And it can also look as just feeling very disconnected and feeling out of alignment. And I will tell you, ladies, that men can pick up on this energy in an instant, in a heartbeat. I know this from my own experience because there was a long time where I was actually very unaligned, out of alignment with my true soul. And I didn't even realize it. I didn't even know that this was actually something that was lurking below the surface, especially because I'd done so much self-development work on myself already. And so I felt like I had a very confident sense of self, of who I was. But I will tell you that having a confident sense of self in who you are for just you being you and doing your life is so different from having a confident sense of self within the context of being in a relationship with someone that you really, really admire and someone that you really want to gain that respect and maybe that validation from, someone that you really want to have in your life for the long term, to love you and adore you and care for you. Being in that sense of self is so different because it requires a whole new level of shedding your layers and truly expressing yourself as you truly are. And this is where that unalignment, disalignment can really get kind of freaky, because if we're not feeling truly 100% confident in who we are around men that we find truly deeply attractive, then it creates this dissonance, and that's where they can sense it and feel it. And so subconsciously, we can actually be pushing men away without even realizing it, attracting them in on the surface level. But then usually if they're sticking around, they're going to sense that there's something off, right? There's something off within yourself that is not making it easy for things to flow. And this usually comes up, about 2, 3, 4 dates in, maybe a few months in, where you're out of that kind of like honeymoon phase, and you start to really actually sink into like, okay, I'm with this person now, and I really need to kind of be able to deepen this relationship. And our mind gets into this relationship timeline of wanting to push it down the timeline and wanting to deepen the connection. And if we are not conscious of what it is that we are actually expressing in our presence to them, it can completely cause a lot of discord within the relationship. So the way I want you to really think about this and approach this is, when you get into this place of being around in the presence of a man that you really, really are attracted to or have been with for a little while, and you're wanting to take it into that deeper next stage, really check in with yourself around, is there anything guarding my heart from truly allowing him to see me? Is there anything guarding my heart that is not allowing myself to fully express my own truest fears, vulnerabilities, insecurities, right? Because a lot of times this is those guards, these protection mechanisms where we want to seem strong. We want to seem like we are fully put together, we are fully whole. And if we are not fully whole in the fact that we have past emotional baggage, past pain, past traumas that we have not dealt with, or we have, been trying to be this perfect person for him, but not really feeling like he's seeing the real you, then that is keeping these protection walls up and not allowing you to really open up your heart for him to see the real you. And I'm just going to warn you that this is something that will not be able to continue for this relationship to have a healthy, relaxed, easy grounding space. You will be subconsciously pushing him away, whether you realize it or not. And this can go both ways, right? You may be a very open person, a very emotionally confident, mature, open woman, but if your man is not able to meet you there for himself, this is also going to be a challenge. It's going to cause a friction. It's going to cause a contrast, because there needs to be this flow. There needs to be this completely back and forth give and take of trust and openness in your heart-to-heart communication for this to be able to have truly open flow between both of you for the long term. And as soon as one person blocks off the flow and puts up a guard or doesn't allow that person in to their heart, it is just like that water hitting the rock, right? It is a full resistance that is blocking it from being able to flow. Really, really powerful. And I love this metaphor of the river, because that's really how the harmony of nature goes, right? When it hits blocks, it moves around it and it continues to flow. And so it's the same with relationships. If it hits a block, it's going to try and find ways to move around it. But at the end of the day, if it can't actually move through it, it's going to actually have to move away. And we don't want this with relationships. We want you guys to be able to do the beautiful dance, the beautiful back and forth of harmony, of flow within the relationship, right? So to be able to do that, it means that both of you, both partners, need to feel so comfortable in this heart space of being truly, truly safe and fully expressed and comfortable with all of the parts of you, right? You may not feel, proud of it, but you have to be able to feel comfortable with all the parts of you, even the ugly parts of you. Because when you are able to really own who you are in all the aspects of who you are and your past, whatever your past was, then you are showing that you are safe within yourself and that you are creating that safe space within them to be able to fully feel expressed back and forth. So this is a huge concept about energetically, subconsciously bringing men in or pushing them away. And it's such a magnetism, and it's such a deep energy that is so powerful when we really take the time to tap into this. And it does take some retraining, and it does take some mindset shifting and some energetics work. But that's the beauty of it too, right? Is when you really can hone into this energy of openness and bringing men into your field, it can completely shift the way that they respond to you and the way they melt into your presence. But it is a constant practice, right, of checking your own energy and really tapping in and saying, how am I feeling? What's coming up for me? Is there anything uncomfortable, anything weird, anything that I have not resolved within myself that needs to be sorted through and cleansed and cleared so that I can be more fully expressed in who I am for my partner? And as you know, this is something that I love going deep on. I love being able to hold space for women on, because it's not something that we can necessarily just do on our own. It's something that we really have to be able to have kind of someone there to reflect and show us the parts of ourselves that we might not be able to see. And that's the beauty of self-development work, right? Is continuing to shine lights on the areas that maybe we haven't seen in the past so that we can become more aware and literally activate these spaces within ourselves that have been laying dormant, and activate the light that has been maybe dimmed or darkened or suppressed for fear of judgment or pain or any of these kind of uncomfortable feelings that we don't want to witness. But I promise you, babe, like when you actually acknowledge and bring awareness to these darker parts of yourself and open them up to the light and flush them out and literally rinse them out of your soul, you feel so much lighter. And this just keeps happening over and over and over with women. It's so beautiful. Like, I just feel so much lighter, right? I feel like I can breathe. I feel like I can shine. I feel like I can truly radiate every piece of me. And when you come into a relationship from that place of true radiance, you are expanding even who you are able to attract into your sphere. Because it's all energetics. And I'm going to probably say this like a bajillion times, so just get used to it. It's all energetics, right? If we are operating from a place of contraction or resistance or guards or protection around our heart, what is it that we are truly able to attract into our experience? It's someone of the same level of energetics. It's someone that is also feeling some level within themselves a place of guardedness or selfishness, or not able to truly open up themselves, emotionally unavailableness, right? Because they are matching what you are putting out there. So I want to take a second to pause this podcast and talk to you a little bit about the Ladies Love Lounge. The Ladies Love Lounge has become the #1 online community for self-love, self-confidence, and feminine energy, helping to transform women from the inside out so that they can truly relax into love, both with themselves and with all the relationships in their lives. And this was formed as a result of me seeing and hearing so many women just feel lost and alone and confused in their experience, and desperately needing guidance, but not knowing or trusting who to go to where they could feel safe and held. Because there's no rule book for love, right? And most of us haven't had the best role models to show us how to be in a healthy relationship. So that's what I want to be here for you. It is my intention to create a space for you to feel held and emotionally supported and guided as you navigate this world of love for yourself. Through this membership, you have access to an online community of women just like you that are all on a deep journey of self-love and self-growth so that they can deepen intimacy with themselves and with their partner and manifest that healthy, long-lasting relationship. Through this membership, you have access to all of my content and course materials, meditations, quizzes, workbooks, as well as weekly live stream Q&A support from me and monthly group coaching calls. This is something that I wish I had when I was starting out, and I wish that I had something that was accessible, because a lot of times there are coaches out there that come at a very high cost, and this is something I wanted to make accessible to any woman and every woman that needs it and wants it. So if this is something you're interested in exploring and having my guidance and support on an ongoing basis from now until the day you say I do, then I want you to click the link in the show notes and join us. And as an extra incentive, I want to give you a 7-day money-back guarantee, because I know that once you're in here, you're not going to want to leave. But if you have any hesitations, you can always just send me an email and I am happy to refund your first month for free. I can't wait for you to come play in the magic of the possibilities. Now, back to the show. And there are rare experiences and circumstances where maybe you are attracting someone that is a little bit of a higher level, that's able to help pull you into this space and help activate within you some of this opening as a new place of being. But it's still up to you to be able to continue to hold that space for yourself and not lean on that person to do it for you. It's always the work that you have to do within yourself. So whether you are in that place of being in that contracted space, or you are meeting someone that's asking you to step forward and step up into a more open space, it's really your decision. It's up to you to be able to open up and literally rise and level up your vibration out of this lower discordance, dissonance energy level of feeling unsorted, feeling out of alignment, feeling contracted, and really level up your vibration into a higher sphere, a sphere of openness, a sphere of true radiant light and effortless, like light. When I say light, I'm thinking light as in brightness, like just glowing light. And I'm also thinking about light as a physical quality of just feeling light, feeling like floating, like a cloud. This essence is such a different feeling, and men can sense it. Men can sense when you're feeling heavy or when you're feeling light, right? So for today and for every day moving forward, I really want you to check in with yourself and ask yourself, am I feeling heavy today or am I feeling light? And start to notice how many days you feel heavy, how many days you feel light. And if you're finding yourself getting caught up in the heaviness of the day to day, reach out to me, babe, because this is not your operating system, right? This is an operating system that you have been allowing to come into your sphere, but it is not your highest operating system. There is a whole nother way of being that is so much lighter, so much more fun, more playful, more just glowing, right? And until you're able to really tap into that on a consistent basis, you are not going to be able to truly connect into that space with a man that you really want, to attract that true king, that true equal partner, right? Because we don't want to be attracting partners from down here. We want to be attracting partners from up here. So if this makes sense to me, it makes sense to me. If this makes sense to you, let me know. Let me know how this resonates with your heart and how this resonates with your soul. And when we talk about the woman that you get to become, this is really the shift, right? Shifting out of lower patterns of vibration and moving up into the lightness, into the higher frequency, into the high-flying disc, as Abraham Hicks likes to say, right? And only from that space can you really truly put out the intention to be meeting that partner or continuing that partnership. So let's talk about it actually if you are already in a partnership. So this very much can happen when being in partnership as well, not when just wanting to call in a partner. So if you are already in a partnership, this means that at some point there was a beautiful, beautiful harmony and connection where you were both really able to deepen into that sense of self with each other and open up to that vulnerability and that heart connection for you to really, truly both be able to deeply fall in love and build that connection with each other. However, if you're feeling like that is dissipated, or you're feeling like your partner and you are moving apart or getting disconnected, this is a sign that you also may be feeling a place of disconnection with your own heart and him disconnection with his heart. And the way to be able to really shift this back is that you both need to recognize that you have become disconnected with your hearts and need to pull back into that space within yourself. So once again, this is not about ever trying to look to somebody else to complete you or bring that sense of self back to you. This is about you getting back into that high vibration with you. And the only way to do that is to go back in within yourself and once again check in. Am I feeling heavy or am I feeling light? If you are feeling heavy, where is this coming from? Why is this heaviness upon my heart? What things have not been resolved? Are there things that have happened within our relationship that have not been cleared through, that have not been rinsed out, that have been shoved under the rug and need to actually be resolved to get closure? Because relationships are always going to be a constant dynamic thing. It's never going to just be perfect all the time, right? We are going to have moments of discord or areas where we need to adjust and continue to shift how we're showing up so that we learn how to more harmoniously be with each other. But in these moments when there are discord in the relationship, it's really imperative that both people are open to cleansing in the moment, right? Or shortly after the moment, so that it doesn't become a layer built up for future resentment. Because resentment is the silent killer. It really is. And it can easily sneak up in the relationship if we don't take the time to cleanse these everyday little moments of discord as they arise, right? So if you're feeling heavy within the relationship or feeling disconnected within the relationship, what I encourage you and honor you to do is to start to check in of what areas in the relationship have I not addressed, or have we not resolved and healed within ourselves, so that we can just get back to that level playing field of openness and that level playing field of really admiring and respecting each other, right? Respect is one of the biggest things to go. When we get into discord, we start to lose respect, or we start to second guess or question this other person because it's not in alignment with how we're feeling in the moment. But we have to remember that there's always two sides to things. And so no matter how you were feeling in that moment with that partner, in that discord, in that argument, in that tension or fight, it's important to remember in coming back to that place of universal love and compassion within yourself, and recognize there's always two parts to this, right? So how can I more deeply resolve the feelings within my heart, communicate my side from an objective place, and also seek to understand how they are feeling and how this whole situation came up for them, so that we can truly clear the slate and continue to move forward in a harmonious way. So, so beautiful, so beautiful. The subconscious energetics of relationships is so big. It's so, so big. And it really requires you, my love, to become much more aware of the woman that you are every day within your relationship. When we are just blindly reacting to relationships, or we are blindly just taking relationships for granted because they worked really well in the beginning, then we are just creating such a minefield of potential disasters, because we're not actually being intentional about the way we're showing up within a relationship, and with dating as well, and bringing a new man in. If we are not actively being intentional about the way we are showing up in the presence of men, we are putting out all of these different energy vibes that are really unfiltered, right? We want our energy to be so potent, so pure, so in alignment with our highest essence, that we just can't help but attract beautiful, beautiful experiences and beautiful men into our experience. But if we're not being intentional about this, we're not bringing awareness to this every single day, then we are creating the space for it just to be sloppy, right? We're not sloppy, energetic beings here, okay? We are intentional beings, and we are very, very pure in our essence. And pure in our essence can mean so many different things. I'm not just saying you have to be some Virgin Mary, like perfect angel. I'm just talking about being pure in your essence around being in your highest alignment with yourself, right? If that means being a sassy, playful, just like confident, whatever type of woman, then that's beautiful. That is you being in the highest essence alignment with yourself, right? But if you're trying to act sassy and confident as a protection mechanism, as a barrier to prove yourself or showcase something about yourself to a man, that is from your ego, and that is not from your place of highest alignment, okay? Can you see the difference there? It's a huge difference there. So I hope this was helpful for you. Like I said, please let me know if there's anything that comes up for you from this. But it's such a beautiful, beautiful concept to kind of explore and unpack. And I'm so grateful to be able to share this with you. I hope you're having a beautiful, fantastic day today, my dear. And we'll talk next time. Thanks for tuning in to another amazing episode of the Relax Into Love podcast. If you are loving what you're hearing, please, I would love for you to write me a heartfelt review. It means so much for the success of this podcast. And honestly, I love hearing what really hits home for your soul. And the feedback, really, I read every piece of it. So definitely pop me a love note and share this with a friend. Share this with someone who you know could really use this message today. And let's keep spreading the love. Until next time.